initiator utility.
We will have to wait and see as finally the last map of the night. There's no breaches or anything here, no Teos as well, so the stun as well.
Okay, Trace on defense, JDG on attack, and we go real fast with it. Slide over towards short with a recon deep, smoke over towards site, they're just hitting. In reaction, they push down double over towards middle. And they're heavy fighting over towards site. Oh dude, they're gonna distract so much that... Okay, turret gets broken, so they know they're behind, and Stu hasn't even turned around. I don't know what the comms were like, but I'm not sure the Killjoy even realized the turret was down.
Caught in the jaws of Trace right now. The spike already dropped, already gained control of Zion, trying to see if there's anyone on that lurk. But Trace, yet again, we'd actually seen this quite a lot on
This is pretty cool from Trace. Like, so basically the comp that they're playing against, when you have the Viper, you win after plant. So you have to fight the site early, or you have to start pushing behind. And they pretty much did both.
Triple if you count Kai ready to swing out on a moment's notice, and there's not really.
I wouldn't recommend doing both all the time, but because it's a pistol that creates so much chaos. And the Omen flash was really good. Flashed over towards long so they could focus on short.
I just want to point that out.
I'm gonna go bold live on stream. Like, I'm actually gonna shave my eyebrows or something. Like, there's no way that this happens.
Okay.
Dude, he was already flicking to the guy over towards default in case they were swinging as well.
Just forming at the top of the forehead. You're like, no way.
Why is the game in League of Legends? Wait,
I was like, why is Kai moving? Why is
what do you mean in the YouTube chat?
Why is Kai given a 1 versus 1? I was panicking for a brief second there, but alas, it will not be so. And it's a pistol round won by Trace, which isn't something we had seen in the past 2 maps.
Say on my YouTube that it's League of Legends.
Ahead early on. So
do I need to change that?
This could be the mark of something new for them.
Let's quickly have a look. Everyone's full eco on this one. Okay, shouldn't see anything crazy. Wait, Prodigy, can you change that, or do I need to change that? Why does it even say that?
In the process as well, a lot of space initially gathered, but then teleporting right back out. The power of Yorio. Now it's just Funk to try and his best to shut down any further progress towards this garden site, having to rotate out.
Fong only having access to that ghost though isn't the best weapon.
We'll find out. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where to change it, so I'm hoping you can find it. Because I got no idea. I don't even know how it's on League.
Having those extra bullets in comparison to the Stinger could be the difference maker.
Very much could be the case as well, and we've been seeing how
is no Cypher kind of criminal? Nah.
Time and Trace deciding that they're likely not going to change for this map. Of course, the correct call, the deadlock wall though, going down at precisely the right timing. And again, for anyone that's tried to break that with classics, you got to spend like 7 seconds doing it. It's a nightmare. The sound sensors as
Triple
well.
Spectre. I mean, it's old school.
Playing this patiently, but it's just a patient walk into their demise.
Just don't make sound. Easy clap. I mean, that's
a good grab,
the only way to counter it. But when you're crouching, when you're getting those squats in, it does not matter how much sound you make. But a dash through the smoke doesn't matter as Bianca gets 2, and the rest of the
Omen flashes are really nice at the moment. It's 2 for 2 really good Omen flashes.
Pretty close to equaling his kills from the Lotus map, and we're only the 3rd round in. That is a lot more what you wanted to see. And as we had mentioned it beforehand, before the break, that this is down to potentially who is more warmed up. We've seen what Martin can do when he's alive. We've seen absolutely what KK Lin and Co can do as well.
Dude, I got no idea
at the moment, leaning the side of Trace, but could easily swap back at any second.
Let's see how good JDG can do in this round, because we saw Trace never able to convert that 3rd round. We always saw it go in the way of JDG when they won that pistol.
Yeah, could you imagine? That'd be sick, dude.
Caused some difficulty for
That's
Trace
the real multitasking.
into the game. It was definitely to their
okay, Trace get to play bonus rounds. We've seen some nice stuff from them. Fast floods over towards here, also trying to use the one spot that you can hold the whole of A for.
I mean, again, should be particularly in this scene. We've seen too many thrifties to count that it's nowhere near as guaranteed as typically it would be expected. So any moment, any misposition can go down
JDG haven't
in history
done
as the one that breaks. Again, that camel's back we mention every once in a while. So currently right now,
drone to make sure that they're creating. Dude, I'm not even sure they need to use their drone like that, but
trying to play their positions, trying to
I guess they're trying to see if anyone's at this position still.
Meanwhile, towards A,
You got kill trip and you got camera giving them early info. Dude, look at this push behind. 40 seconds. They don't have A control. And they insta swing clear over towards middle. Still got the kill trip.
Oh, the Cypher trip does get found.
Fast flood over towards site. 3 people on site.
For any sort of reveal. That long-awaited Cypher nerf
big jewel. Oh, that's a big jewel.
Well, but JDG finally able to make the frags go their way. Fung,
some people are stingers,
at least
man.
Getting one Stew, though, not gonna let it go down without a fight. Just jumping in and out with the overclock, with the speed. The Killjoy setup comes through. The gun swap.
Oh god, dude, Martin got 2. No, dude, the sound went
Tries
again.
to come through. Martin finds 2, but it's Stew
so
on
good.
his right side to shut that down.
A sigh of relief from JDG there. We saw such a prolific play on Icebox. If you haven't watched that map, please go and watch it. I'm not going to spoil what happened, but there was a moment where Martin went astronomically huge, and I thought we were going to see it right there again.
Had he been given the chance, but Stu just fast enough to shut it down, stop the bleeding before the cut ever really opened up. But still quite a lot from JDG utilized. They've got mostly guns on the board. There's a Guardian still through, and actually Baby Blue already on that Hunter's Fury, which can be
so hard to
a
sing this
very
up.
pivotal thing to have on this 4th round. If you look, the Annihilation online for Martin, everything else 1, 2 or more away. So these ultimates already gonna be absolute.
It's because we were lazy and didn't have a description for your live stream, so the AI made it League of Legends.
Okay.
Honestly, at least we got a while until AI takes our jobs, so that's fine.
Taking any opening duels, actively
at least got a few more months.
Well, which is what JDG needs if they're hoping to win this map, because it is what they did so well on these past 2 maps.
It's a fine line between like confidence and cockiness, where like you're swinging fights and taking them. We see there, you know, Kai managing to take down KK Lin, maybe a bit of cockiness rather than confidence there. But
mate,
if
you
don't
gotta
take
get that
any
cage
fights,
down.
You're never gonna
Dude, he
build
held
that
on to that
confidence.
cage
You're
for
going
so
to let
long.
the teams walk over you and take as much space as they
Wait,
want.
they faked
and
garage
that
pressure
is
to go over
the
towards
tightrope
B.
to walk.
Annihilation going to be used.
Some of his ults don't make
They are going
sense.
to be able to break them loose, but Martin picks up an
Honestly,
easy kill.
maybe we give him this
2
one.
members left alive from JDG. Their options become more limited as this time dwindles down.
Yeah, Hunter's Fury takes about 8 seconds to pop all 3 arrows as well, and with that spike not planted yet, there's finding themselves with less and less options.
How do you
They're
plan to
having
watch the
run through on
EWC?
the
I mean, I'm
C
just not
side. There
going
is still a
to.
Cypher
That's
trip
my plan.
ready to go, but there is also just a Cypher and Omen on it too. The scan comes through 9 seconds. The tap to try and fake, but that is going to be too much of a commit. There is enough time. Hush my mouth.
Just about enough, but there's 2 people ready to swing, and Martin is so secure when it comes to just finishing off those kills, getting those rounds that you don't know if they're going to go your way or not. And Trace going to be very happy that they're able to win that one out.
Yeah, incredibly so. That's what you really need to try and get this momentum going. JDG have been working the momentum so clean, so well. I need to... honestly, I don't know. I was so convinced that Stu had the spike and swung out with it there. Maybe he dropped it, or maybe I am just going, you know, a teeny bit, you know, seeing additional spikes where additional spikes are nowhere to be seen. But a phenomenal attempt anyway, and of course now the timeout coming through from JDG.
You know what's the Sassy event final? Nah, not tonight. I might be Sacho was streaming yesterday. If there's a Kuroda, I'll probably watch just like on his stream. But other than that, I'm just kind of leaving it.
Weren't expecting a peak at a certain moment. But on
is it Lev against Crew? I didn't actually watch the end of the Lev game.
For those fights and those opening duels, and is JDG not able to get the picks the same way that they were able to last map?
Currently coming down, it just genuinely seems like Lotus, just Trace were a little bit lost, which is surprising to say, but the numbers kind of show that there wasn't as much confidence this time as there is in Haven right now, as there was back on the Icebox. It's completely different storyline, completely different process, and we've been seeing the storylines, you know, from Martin, from KK Lin, from even like Leo King and things. There's been so much moment-to-moment macro plays, macros coming out that, again, as you've said, could have swung either way.
But at the end of the day, it is swinging the way of Trace, and they're going to be very happy should in theory.
Okay,
be
win
a
one,
fourth
lose the
round
next,
for them.
force to
I
an
say in
eco, and they're
theory
up
because
against
we have seen
Euro
thrifties are
and
plenty in
also
this region
get
and
the
in this
outlaw.
map as well. As JDG looking
We
to
can
make
one-shot
an
everyone.
aggressive play towards this C
Not sure about
site,
this one
not
from Trace.
scared of
Let
these
them have
cypher
the
setups
site.
at all.
They're already kind of getting through them. They're
Guys,
starting
get
to
on
bit by
site.
bit, you know, shoot
Oh,
them
this
down
might be a
themselves.
mess
They've
up,
already
no?
spotted one or two coming out of like garage and such.
I know
so
they don't
managed
have
to get on
any
the site.
guns, but
Kind of convincingly, they are able to survive. It is a 1-for-1 trade.
oh,
but with
guys, this is
buy,
such a
that is
huge
absolutely
mistake.
going in favor of JDG. Unfortunately for Jake Giro, maybe stuck out there,
Oh.
doesn't have the shadow step to get out. The
They're stuck
wall?
on site. They're stuck on site now. They can't get out. They have to take these fights.
That is genius. That is insane from Martin, and he picks up the kills because of it. There seems to be a tiny gap.
This
in the
was
wall,
close,
but
man.
nowhere near
I
enough
don't know.
to
I wasn't
protect
convinced with this,
all
man.
the
30
rest of the
HP,
members of
24,
JDG.
50.
And GM, the
I think Trace got away with one hit, to be honest with you.
Classic stayed long, and all of a sudden can't take those fights because it's at a long range. And I don't think I've ever seen that before. The wall
was
to
awesome.
stop them getting into post-plant positions. That was an insane play from Martin. What a read.
Yeah, that was incredible to watch. God damn, I'm excited to see that again. Like, one there, gets the second, gets the third, and that's all the back of that wall. And Kai
Weapon diff, yeah, they were pretty much done for it. Even if they had stingers there on attack, I'm pretty sure they were fine.
With plays like that, all of a sudden, if you're JDG, it was a great, you know, initial take. You got the frags, you were starting to trade out the space, but all of a sudden, Martin
of that
kind
to
of
give
saying,
up?
okay, if you want the space, take this space.
Okay, Outlaw.
It will be your
Wait.
grave.
I mean, the Outlaw, I'll do it again. I thought I saw way more light armors than that. Only one person could get one shot. JDG kind of changed it up. They've been defaulting a lot towards middle. Now they're actually defaulting over towards A. Camera deep towards C. Doesn't see anything, so it goes a little bit closer.
10-2, looking to be that dominant force
Trip.
again. And
It's good info for them.
while this JDG squad has some kind of
Yeah, once that smoke
read
goes
and
down
wants
as
to go
well, you
towards
kind of
A,
got to play
it
on
is
site
into
a
this
little
raid
bit.
boss.
Honestly, Martin already having Annihilation back up is wild. Like that's
Dude, Martin not using his wall is crazy here. He's done so good.
I know it wasn't last round because of how quickly last round happened. Yeah, 2 rounds ago, and Annihilation's already back online, which we've mentioned before is one of the power ultimates. If it hits, you have to spend utility, you know, breaking your teammate free. Even then,
The
you
drone,
just
surely
get
this is the
a
time.
shot when they're pulling their gun out.
Drone
It can
stun.
just control a lot of space and give Kai.
Okay, now we
is going
throw
to
the wall.
continue that with just
Sova
landing the
ult,
shots.
but
The
they can't
hunter's
really
fury
get
from
out
being able to
anywhere.
try and clear out anything as the team push through, but Kuro just falls.
And there's already members on site just
Trace have been handling A
JDG
really cool
feels the
though,
need to
to
push
be fair.
forwards. They're using so
Like
much
they're
of
doing
this
great
early
at
time,
2
trying to find a
chokes,
pick that when
and
they
each
get
time they
picked
like
off, they just don't
use
have any
util
time
for
to
one
work
and
with.
fight the other.
As you say,
Yeah,
20
it's pretty nice.
seconds, they look to be almost
I have
edging
no
out.
idea what
I
JDG
imagine
are
that'll just be
doing.
going
This
down
was
to sewers. That
this
cannot
was a
be a
shock
full
over
rotate,
round.
not at this time.
This
It
is
looks like actually they
this
know
actually happens so
set
much
up
recently
towards
when I
that.
watch
They
this
are
map,
opting for a save, and a 3-man
where it's
save
like
honestly can feel a little bit
these,
rough,
like one
especially
of
with this
these will
score.
end up just looking like the most
But I feel like
overpowered
JDG
agent
right
in the
now
game.
on this map
It
are just-
happened in the
they're not
Fnatic
working
game
the map. What we saw from them
against
on Lotus
Gen
was
G, maybe.
perfect
Like there
pressure
was a
towards
turret
A,
here that was
draw
getting
some
full
rotates
info.
out, pivot
And
over,
this was a
maybe
similar
go
round
towards B or
to a lot
C
of that.
and
Camera,
pressure different parts
trip,
of the map. It seems like now they're
and
just
trip over
shift
towards
keying
B. Like
through
they have full
angles,
info on the rest of
hoping
the
that they
map.
can maybe catch a player off guard.
Like JDG on
But
defaulting
Tracer,
against a
so
against a
disciplined.
Cypher.
You need to force
They're
them to
not
make bad
breaking.
decisions
Like you
because if
gotta
just let
do
the
something.
game come to them, they're always going to do the right thing.
You give them the time, and as you say, JDG, that's absolutely what JDG have been doing, giving Trace
Zero pressure, yeah,
all
exactly.
the
They got a
time
default.
in the world. This double sentinel setup,
Like even
is
if they
a
A default,
nightmare,
it's so
and
fine, but then they got to
again,
go back and like
they're
break
able
all of
to put,
this.
I'd say 2, 3
And
rounds
normally you
more on the
like
board. There
you'll
is still
default here, use the
possibility
drone
having
for
the
this,
attack
or
with
your
Deadlock and
reverse.
Cypher can be
So
a pain,
maybe we
unless,
should
of
look at whether
course,
using their
Martin
drone
can
a bit more.
continue this momentum towards that attacking side. It's not here just yet. JDG still trying their best to get it. This shock dart comes through. I don't believe yet. Doesn't break a Cypher trip because of
Guys,
it. Leo King happy to
You're
play
making the Cypher look way
Perfect
too
trick
good.
for the situation, and now with a double setup through that door, spikes on site. This round should be all but over.
That Cypher trip infuriates me just looking at that. That just aggravates me looking at that, man. That the capacity Cypher has for something like that. And speaking of the capacity Cypher has, Fung is absolutely perfect. So clean, the positioning, so aware, so everything as this fight towards B still continuing.
It might just be another save yet again. 2 versus 5. They're gonna have to back
Yeah.
away, but I
Just
feel like
can't-
Trace with how they are.
I mean, they're just
might
struggling against the
try and
Cypher.
put these rifles
Yeah.
down. If you send Kai or Bianca
The most
on a
perfect round for
mission,
Trace.
you get yourself some ult orbs. You snowball this game even more.
There is the opposite angle where honestly, and it does sometimes happen. Maybe this is more of a ranked setup than a tier 1 stage. But there's also kind of the moment right now where Trace may be thinking, you know what, JDG only have 1 round, and that wasn't with a full buy. You can take the guns. They're clearly not helping.
Yeah, I mean, that's
definitely
the ego way to go about it. I'll say that much. It's, that's when you're trying to prove to them that you're just better. You let them have the rifles. You give them the advantageous position.
Okay,
It's
didn't get
JDG
any extra
battling
kills, but
in their own spawn,
they're,
managing to get some of those kills.
their money's
It is
still
gonna be
fine.
a
They're
couple
allowed to
of
hunt.
orbs over to them,
Did the Sova go down? I think Sova was one away
Like,
from
Wolf's
ult, right?
already active, so those kills will have no impact on the game.
Wait, no, I
3
think
frags,
did
though,
Chad, did the
that is
Sova
a
go down?
decent bit of economy damage. Not likely, you've got 6 to 1. I'm sure nowhere near going to be, the bankrupt.
Yeah, dude, Bianca got ult from that.
It can harm them, and it's enough, in fact, just to call another timeout for JDG. Discuss the options.
Dude, the double timeout was really going, really going bad.
Hit the nail on the head with they're not utilizing the map to their advantage. They're not playing with the same confidence they had on Lotus, and it's harming them.
I mean, we didn't really get to see it, but with where Fung found that kill, it was because early on in the round, Trace committed some resources towards getting Fung all the way up C long. And as soon as you have that information, you know that the enemy has to be A or they have to be B. And you look at their buy, they're going to have a load of stingers. It's most likely not going to be A because they don't want to fight through those long angles. And, just by a series of deducting options that this JDG squad has, they know that the setup is towards B, and it's just perfect play from Trace so far.
It brings back to what you were saying, where JDG, we were saying, last map, they were kind of playing that confident, that, sort of typical Valorant, but that was in confidence and gunplay. The decision-making from JDG, far riskier, far more, kind of make or break, and it was working for them.
What is the change-up?
They're not really making those risks, as you said, playing much more default.
All
and
goes
Trace
up
seemed very
C
happy
default
to
to try and get an orb.
I think it's just Trace
Nah, they
being
just
ready
want to
for
try to find if the
these kind
Cypher's
of
here to break
walk-ups and
it.
Slow plays. JDG, you see, they're not really forcing the issue as much with their util, but when you look at the composition, what do they even have to get a sight? They've got 2 controllers, they've got a Sentinel. It's pretty much just Sova and Shu on this Neon that have to brute force a fight themselves.
And when you've got all of that utility that you need to
Yeah,
spend,
you gotta
on
chill,
the
especially with
deadlock,
that
on the
ult.
Cypher, even trying to break
Okay,
down,
the
the
drone goes
opposing
out and
Sova,
finds one of the
there's
trips.
a lot that you're getting used already, like the oil drone having to sacrifice itself for the
Shock
Cypher
to break.
trip
Okay,
that
that's
doesn't
one
even
trip
get
down.
destroyed unless the
Omen
follow-up
flash
shot
instant
dart, which
re-clear
gets
of the
used, but that
Precious. Now
is-
they put one
what
here.
is that? Is that
Okay, they've actually
550
finally just like
credits for
fully
200?
defaulted. I will say one thing that was pretty good from
200
Trace is
for a
once they
Cypher.
saw the smoke
yeah,
there,
like,
I don't know if they
yeah,
held onto the camera or they put it late here, but this late camera kind of cleared all the info. Like anytime JDG are doing a little bit of pressure, they insta-clear it. Like this is twice, long C and
That is
garage.
true. That is absolutely. I do forget my numbers occasionally, but yeah, that's
Wall down
the
towards
overall point
short.
still stands. It's a lot of util for one tripwire. It really is. So that is the difficulty that JDG
Sonic
are
Sensor
struggling
might
with as
own
they
them
try to
here.
get themselves
It's a
onto
great
this
grab
A
net.
site, and yet again, as
great
soon as
shock
the push
dart.
starts, it ends. The magnet and the shock drone very much doing them.
Okay,
for it.
nice. That's the round though.
That's all their utility used, though, to gain this
They,
site. Law King's in the perfect position to shut down the push.
Oh, the
And off
swing
the back of this, an
behind.
even numbers retake a situation where Trace has won so
Guys, you
many
can't
times
afford to
before.
lose this round.
It might be
Oh,
another
no.
addition. Zion walking past the, the most common, walking past the defender spot and not actually checking that angle. Maybe just a little bit of a brain
Oh,
fart there.
God,
Maybe just
that's
a
the
little
game,
bit of a
man.
loss.
You can't lose that
Assuming
round.
maybe there
The
wasn't
the
anyone gonna
Omen
be there
TP play
due to
above the box
swings
though
and
was
how
pretty
the rest of the
huge,
plays
but my
had
goodness.
turned out. But of course,
That is-
someone lying
It was
and
like
waiting and
the
Trace are
the
just
only round that they
happy
played
to
proper
run
defaulted
run
as well, and then
run
they got
away with
wrecked.
this.
We see there the issue
Wait,
with this
Des, did you
composition,
literally
right?
just
They-
do your first
they use the
message
paranoia,
perfectly
they
in
use
time
the
for
neon
this?
stun, they use the Sova dart, and then
He
as
says,
soon
"Oh
as the
no,
retake
I have
comes
arrived
through,
at the
it's
worst
just
possible
gunplay.
time."
That's all they have left. They have no utility to use
That's
here.
so
They
sick.
have nothing to force Law King out of this position other than just swinging it and hoping that they can win a fight.
And And so far, they are not able to do it. The gunplay right back online, and you can see the frustration now. It's really starting to get there. The stress is starting to overflow, and again, when you had such a dominant Lotus to
Yeah,
kind of
you can definitely see in the timeout though,
they've
been told to just smoke this off and actually take the orb here and create the pressure that they can't be doing the deep camera to get info.
Realign, and if my knowledge serves me as well, JDG don't have any more time with their coaches.
Yeah, they've used both
More
timeouts.
timeouts, I believe.
Liu Kang's been doing incredible Omen flashes. Let's see how many he gets with this. 1, 2. Weird Viper ult. Viper ult before the plant as well. They're just going to get Palmer spam. It's a great TP from Liu Kang. Whoa!
Liu Kang just jumping in. What's all this then? Mind if I drop in?
JDG look lost, man. JDG looks so lost. It is nice from Trace, but
when that's really all
they are
needs to be done,
straight up
everyone
fresh
else
out of
has
ideas.
already fallen, and now they have that scan. Baby Blue, try and get an exit or two, because I doubt you're getting any more.
Kai really wants this kill as well. They know, I think they know exactly where this player is, but they don't really want to take
They have
too
so
many
many
risks. They
ults that they should be able to get
that
another round
ultimate
here, but
online. 'Cause if they find a kill and die, Hunter's Fury is going to be available next round at the very least.
You gotta remember as well, like Liu Kang able to pick up the kill there, but last time that happened, they went hunting. I believe
all the Viper ult did was just give him freedom either side. You can throw the wall over the top, TP over the top as well.
Which was not at all how TE wanted
Just
that to
spam
happen.
freely.
So now, evening it out, phenomenal positioning from Liu Kang there. The timing, the scrappiness that you'd mentioned caused by the double controller setups, it means you can't clear every angle.
This is like one of my issues here with JDG, because
because
like you can tell they're struggling so much. I guarantee they've never used that ult in practice.
It's a micro thing.
Like they've never used this ult in practice just because it doesn't make sense. The only way you would use this ult is if you were like defaulting here to create pressure and then you're going elsewhere. But to use this Viper ult to then hit the site, it just doesn't make any sense.
To take sight that they don't have
They're
anymore,
just
when they're so limited.
they're just so desperate for a round, so they're just trying random stuff that they don't do in prac.
Completely agree. You've got the relay bolt there, but as you see, the wall comes through. Stu is just fast enough to get the frag, but Bianc already set up. Baby Blue.
And they do that
down
same
as
thing
well. There is
again,
no
right?
Sova
Every single time
online
over
for this,
towards
and
here, if we just isolate these two
as quickly
boxes,
as
they're
the
blocking
push
off one of the
starts,
boxes.
JDG
Block
have
off
to
one of the
just kind
boxes and drill the other box.
But
Pretty
JDG
good.
just doesn't have options. It's just a difficult one for them. What are they supposed to do? Throw flashes at them? They got no flashes. They've got paranoia, and that's it. There's not really much to work with. It's this composition, I feel like, was based around them playing slower, around them taking their time in these rounds. But when Trace is being, I would say, a little bit greedy in some of these rounds in the space that they decide to push towards, it just doesn't make a difference because these smokes aren't having an impact.
They really are not. They aren't being given the capability to do it. The pushes just aren't quite there. I mean, you see there, you know, the pushes are very much there, but for the wrong side. It's not for JDG. It is very
Have
much
you seen any
for
teams play
TE.
bind yet? No, not yet.
Has been playing
We've seen
super aggressive, as you
Kuro
said,
twice from
potentially
China.
greedy, but if you've got your team backing you up,
I
it's
don't know
not
if they,
an issue.
I don't know if in the
The thing
Sassy
is,
event
smokes
they
only
played
work if the
bind
other
yet,
team
but
respects them. And if Trace just declines
we saw Kuro just
the
doing
invitation
that.
to stay out of
Dude,
the
not the
smoke,
same
then
round again.
it does not
They at least
matter
have a
at
shock
all.
that goes
Pushing-
over towards B to create
pushing forward again,
pressure.
trying to go
But dude,
aggressive
look
this
at
round.
how much
They just
info they
can't
have
find
again.
any kills. They can't find any opening picks, and for a team like JDG that had all of the opening picks the last two maps, we can see why it's an issue and why this team has been struggling the past year of Valorant.
Same thing though, right?
We can
Squares.
also indeed as well, you know,
Block
bringing
off
up,
this
you know,
square.
How strong is Deadlock?
Fight here.
You were sacrificing everything there. The sound sensors
Yeah,
needed to
if
get
they,
shot.
it's a
out with
deep,
the setup
shallow
needed there,
wall.
and then you
As soon as
still
someone goes to
lose
break
a
this
member
wall,
in
you can just go
J0
behind and
to
you
the
can
op
op
from
someone.
Kai. You have to then rotate out
Like
because you
the
want that
Deadlock wall
space
once you
because
start
can't
getting the
push
op
through.
out is
The
so
Deadlock
deadly.
wall comes back up, and all you have done is push one member in. You've gotten a little
Okay,
bit
this is
of
looking like the
control
best
for
round though.
Zion.
They actually
You see
cancel.
Fang-
They cancel. They
Fun
walk close
Fun
over towards
Fun
garage.
is just happy to keep that control all
They're gonna
to
have to
himself. The Cypher
retake.
tripwire,
Wait,
the
this
minute
might
that
actually be it.
activates, they're gonna know
They've obviously got a
exactly
great
what
ult
the
to
story is.
retake, but
Benefit is no
How
one towards
does
this site just yet, but Fung feeling
Fung
themselves
wanna play
wanting
this?
to take one of these opening peaks.
saves a cage as
Just
well.
gotta
They know
stay
that they have
smart,
the Yoru
back
ult.
off,
They push
set up
fast
for this
behind.
retake.
Killjoy
You
ult
mentioned
goes
that
down at
about,
one
like,
point
Trace
pretty
where they
early,
don't
but
really,
it's
there's
fine.
been a little bit more greed, honestly, this side, but they have been
There's been
rotating.
no
They have
bind yet?
been, like,
Okay.
you know, grouping up, taking fights together. I say that as Fung Fung tries his best. He nearly looks to try and take the fight, but just gets out of
It's
the
an
way.
early
Killjoy,
Yoru ult. People
nothing
can't do too
found
much
just
off
yet.
of this.
Martin on this flank finds KK Lin. Zion finding two
No
of their
way.
own. The
he
Hunter's
started
Fury comes
Sova
through. Kai
ulting
with
as
the
there's a
shorty
Yoru
and
ult on
Stu
his head.
finally able
Nice
to get
shot,
it, and
my
the
goodness.
slide is not respected at all. Martin looking like he's at a shooting range, just seeing the little rubber duck come through and tapping it down.
No way they stick.
Oh,
no
not
way he
again.
sticks.
Oh,
Not
that's
again.
close.
No, you have to leave.
So close.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my
They've
goodness.
learned their lesson, ladies and gentlemen.
I
And
mean, it's
everything
just not
else in
convincing, though, is
between.
it?
If you were not watching the past two maps, I think me and Dante have been molding because there have been about 4 situations where someone has just stuck the spike without being peaked.
Yeah, very much confident there. Stu, oh my days, that Martin's confidence has shot right back up. I do appreciate the stick. I really respected the swing is there, the relief is there, and a 10-2 or a 9-2, sorry, going into what is potentially either the 9-3 or the 10-2. This last round, any ultimates, use them or lose them. Doesn't actually seem like there's anything online. You've got the From the Shadows from Take Care if he wishes, and Martin, I would say if, but it's more likely to say when they get the frag, they've got that Annihilation online.
The only copium that JDG maybe has is 1, the 9-3 curse, but 2, you spoke about before, it is double sentinel. So in theory, the attack should be weaker, but when one of those sentinels is deadlock, it makes it so difficult.
Dude, why does it
if
feel
Trace
similar
is able
to...
get onto the
Why
site
does it
on
feel
their
the same
attack
again?
path, how do you
Full
retake?
info.
Yeah, I mean, the post-plant sound sensor is absolutely one of the toughest things to deal with. Like, the setups are usually pretty noticeable, but again, dedicating any time to clear that utility that's not holding an angle, that just gives you more time to get, you know, timinged. That gives you less time, less bullets even, which we have seen has been relevant in a few cases, and it seems we're doing the exact same strat again. JDG commit to initially pivot towards
Garage
C,
control.
but this time,
Question mark
Kai has
created,
it
but
ready.
again, early info.
There as well.
Never
No drone
broke the
available,
vision over
not
towards
even
here.
any utility
3-person
from
stack
this
over towards
Sova.
A, trip over
Spotted.
towards
Oh,
B.
you sneaky,
They can
sneaky
probably
boy.
get 4-person here.
You
It's a great
devil.
Omen flash once again.
Oh, J.Kuro knows
Block
there's
off of this
something up, but he
box,
can't
fight
quite
short.
find the shots. Leo King's able to find one. The double swing comes through. It does manage to find, but that is all
Jesus.
green.
Is
on
it,
the
I mean,
kill
this right
feed
here is a great
as
demo
they
of just
manage to
how
make it 10 and 2, and as we
important
said,
like
now the
defaulting is on
Copium needs
attack,
to come on
and
full
just
effect.
how
JDG
you can
needs
win a
to
game
find
with just a cipher
all of
doing
these rounds,
nothing
essentially.
really.
In theory,
Just setup
it can
wise,
work.
that's
I feel
it.
like double controller can offer you a lot more in terms of defense because you can cut off these.
Like the impact
angles, you
from
can
Feng Feng here is
stall out the
outrageous, but
attack, if Trace
it
plays
doesn't
like
have the
they are
craziest
right
score.
now,
But he won them like
how often they're winning all of these opening fights.
8 rounds probably.
And also the fact that they are just refusing to respect the smokes that are being placed. I don't think the double controller will matter.
It's very much down to as well, and even if that double sentinel plays that we're seeing come online, yes, you've got that advantage that you don't have, that you're dealing with double sentinels, but they only need to win 3. That's not many rounds. That's even if you are, let's say 46% win-loss with this composition. That is a number I've kind of, pulled out, but it is just to make an example.
Where's that coming from?
Yeah, no, it's an absolute figure, but just to say, 46% is something you can absolutely get 3 rounds off of easily. Even if you are lower at disadvantaged. As I said, it is a number just to make my point. The number is completely made up and meaningless, but...
Look, statisticians...
Yeah, see, it's hard. I'm gonna fire back on
Numbers,
that.
people, be damned. Every round is a 50-50. Every fight is a 50-50. You either win it or you lose
Another
it.
bad map
and
for
that is
EMEA.
all that
Were you talking about
JDG need to
Corrode?
be
Nah, I think
thinking
EMEA
right
be
now.
good at
They
it.
need to forget that there is a 10 on the board for Trace. They need to just think about
Dude,
how
Riot
they
felt
can
bad for
play
EMEA.
this
They just
half
took Pearl straight out
to
of
be
there.
the most effective
I
they
think
can
actually someone in Riot
This
hates
is the
Pearl.
first pistol round. That's
They
what
like
JDG
fixed the
are doing
map,
anything. This is the
and then they
first
took it out
pistol
pretty
round.
fast
This is
after
the
fixing the
one where
map.
just
They
go,
bring
okay,
it
cool.
back,
First
they
half
take it out
happened.
first chance
We
they
got
get.
2 rounds.
Someone
and
like
to be
really
honest,
hates
they were
Pearl.
pretty well deserved rounds. The executes were there. They had managed to just play around their
Someone's
their
just like
timings,
a
their callouts
huge,
against Trace were phenomenal.
huge Fnatic
They
fan
do
or
have it
something.
in them. We'll see if that can replicate on this side, and they've got to
Trying to
do it
give
a
them the
lot
best
more
chance
than
possible.
twice to still stay in this.
My
It's the
only worry is
European
that
employee. It has
from
to
what
be a
we've seen in the
European
past few
employee.
maps, it seems like JDG is kind of a confidence-based team. When they're playing well, they're playing really well. But when they're not landing those shots, they can just crumble.
And indeed, we'll have to wait and see as the last pistol round gets underway. And ladies and gentlemen, the school trip, the field trip, looks to be happening down mid. A kind of uncommon first
Fnatic
push.
just started to show hope on Pearl. Mate, they got like 10 rounds after winning double pistol.
Stu using the concuss to slow down the push as well, but there's just more members committing from Trace. A flank comes through at the same time.
The hope is complete minimum.
But in the brief respite we have, Spike is actually in spawn right now.
We want to go back home. We want to go back home. We want to
put us back on defense. We did better there, please. We have double sentinel. We don't want to do this attacking site.
Interesting decision, but I don't quite
a
think
weird
it'll
one.
work out for Trace as JDG. They seem to know. They seem to have the understanding as
He's
all
so
three
wrecked.
push down. And ooh, that's the spike. It doesn't really matter where Fung Fung is. He has to find a way to get through all three members to get this spike and get the pistol round on the board.
They heard Fung Fung as well running through sewers, so they know this player's here, setting up with the crossfire for it. As soon as one
Could be
player
one of the
gets that
craziest
information,
clips
it will
ever.
just be a blender
Someone
of
would have to really
bullets
mess up.
for Fung Fung.
Let's just let it happen. Not even the blender doesn't
Went to
even
the angle
actually
where all
start. The
three could
first
see him. That's
blade that
fine.
is Baby Blue immediately whirs and gets the pistol round on the board. All of a sudden, I mean, again, there's a lot more to do, but a very clean defense, the double flank, a phenomenal decision actually made. You get to see the minimap there exactly how it was utilized. The shots coming through, the delay actually that we did
Want to see Breeze at Champs?
from
Ah,
the
man.
side of Fung Fung.
God, I hope they
He
don't bring
wanted to chill in
Breeze
window
back.
to lurk, but he was just a bit too late.
Breeze and Abyss. I would be
And I
so
think
fine
it was
never
just
seeing
how
Breeze and Abyss
aggressive JDG
again.
went so early on in the round that just caught Trace off guard. But it's one of those where I don't think you can replicate that kind of play because
Wait.
Trace is going to be ready for it. But Fung Fung
Straight up
definitely not
spam
ready to
through
be
window.
spammed through the wall by Stu.
Want to quickly point out as well that has
Breeze
knocked up
Abyss
the pistol win
Icebox.
rate 52% for the side of JDG.
Dude, at one point we
56%
kind
it
of have to
was
get the worst
for
map
Trace.
ball
That will
ever.
be a bit lowered as their win
And it will
rate
include
for
those three.
This map will also be lowered. JDG very quickly, very,
Well, this was a
very
fast one.
convincing read that it was a garage push and getting.
Is there a way that they do
absolutely
it? I don't
melted
think
down
so.
on
It's a
Trace.
pretty good defensive comp,
Now let's be
but
honest.
from what I've seen,
There's not a world
if
where
I
this
just
ever
look at the
gets won.
Talon
There's-
game,
Oh my days.
this comp can
surely
be pretty
not.
good at just spamming B
Yeah, I
heads.
was like,
It's probably the one thing that works pretty well against this comp.
Never gonna happen. But it
would've
now,
been cool.
it now gives
long
us
as
a
they
bit
can,
of
like,
time to
fight
think
sight
about
after.
what happens from here. It's again a round where Trace, are they going to be able to convert that third round after losing the pistol?
You'll have to
We
get
haven't
new
seen it
mods.
so far.
I'm not watching Breeze, Abyss, and
Or will
Icebox.
JDG start to gain a
Dude, I'm
little
not
bit
sure
of
I could watch all
momentum,
regions
a
if that was the
little
map
bit of
pool.
confidence and pull themselves back into this game.
Might just sack off
Certainly be
Americas
a
or
show
something.
and a half if they did.
Let
There
someone
hasn't
else
been
take
a
the
single
hit.
bomb plan, or I believe maybe one frag going the way of Trace. So JDG looking very solid. The economy not looking at all fantastic for Trace if they cannot make a very convincing show. The Yoru TP out, the very aggressive defense from JDG, but this is the power of a Yoru. Teleport out, you have a lot of that information, and you have to rely on your one remaining member in KK Lin, who has been showing up phenomenally, but has to do just a little bit more to try and slow this down as the rotate comes through.
It's okay, because Sonic the Hedgehog's here on C already. Neon sprinting through. Stu has already found their way here, but Trace are playing the perfect crossfire.
These are nice shots, man.
Oh my days, and they are executing it to perfection.
Yeah, get that
Emphasis
Yoru ult
on
fast.
Execute as all members of JDG fall. Zion noticing a very, very deafening silence from the
GG?
C site.
I mean, yeah, probably, but
The only
Next
player
round's a
that
big one.
had an upgraded rifle now gonna have to really make use of that if there's any hope to win this round. The 1 versus 4 isn't impossible, and a 1 versus 3 makes it just a slight bit easier, but with only 45 health to work with, it's so difficult to isolate these fights.
Oh,
You can
the
buy an
Magnus
op, yeah, you might drop
heard,
it to
so they
Stu,
know
actually.
They're actually happy to leave it, just rotate away. Zion looks to be not wanting to see if okay, just trying to take the fight and will appropriately get punished. That is a firing squad you're swinging into. I appreciate
Zaddy
the,
Wash, but with the tier 1, thanks so
optimism,
much for
but
the
it will get
25
crushed.
months, mate. Appreciate you.
I guess just
Thanks for
rather
doing
take
that.
the orb than saving the rifle. They know they're going to be onto a bye next round anyway. But it finally happened. Trace was able to win a third round, a round that was pretty much should have been guaranteed for them before. They managed to do it now, and JDG not going to be able to gain that momentum. 11
Yeah, he does it though.
scoreboard for Trace.
Drops him an op.
JDG going to be feeling
Let's
a
see what
little
Stu's
bit
got. Where's he
worried.
going?
Better
Hiding
late
over
than
towards
never
C.
for Trace and
Waits for the
JDG,
swing out, late
opting
peek.
for the operator here. Stu sitting here ready
Now
to
what?
cook his heart out. The smoke though basically
Oh.
immediately shutting that down. Sova Dart comes through, doesn't get a scan. Believe
What?
it is broken by KK Lin. As the shots come through and we see
Wait, why has he
the
got no
patience
armor?
again. You had mentioned that sort of discipline that Trace have, and we've seen it time and time again.
He bought it for
showcased
himself?
yet
Oh, for
another
God's
time as
sake.
the default comes
This
through,
guy had
and
enough money, though.
everything is just waiting for this initial collapse.
So many question marks now over towards C.
He
They
doesn't
don't
have stun.
risk re-peaking that, so 3 members on
He
this
definitely
side of
did,
the
yeah.
map.
He had like
They're happy
5.
to leave B as a passive
He had
hold in
3-7,
terms of the
right?
Killjoy utility. They know they have a molly to stall. On the side of Trace, moving these resources towards
had five-
A,
he had
they're
5,
not
850.
spotted here. It
God's
could be
sake,
so
man.
good for them.
It doesn't look like they were. You said
Okay,
so
your ult's coming out on this one. 2 over towards site as well. They're in the position to omen flash on top of it.
All the information that's possible. I was about to say, does Kai look
Yeah,
up to get the
so
angle,
omen
but it's the
flash
paranoia
combo.
played off
And-
beautifully. J-Kuro tries to drop down to get the positioning, but instead
Okay,
forces Kai.
sure.
KK Lin
Well,
doing
that's
his
it
best,
done.
but the frag's still very, very easily going towards Trace.
And we spoke about
Yeah,
this
I mean,
before.
Trace
As
did
soon
really
as
good to
get
make sure they
onto
could get
site,
this
there is-
all
It's near
online as
impossible
early as
for this
possible.
JDG comp to retake. There's so much deadlock utility. The Omen smoke's coming through as well. You just can't play this one. It has to be a
Who'd you
save,
put in your
and
greatest 15 players of all time?
JDG
Oh, dude, I can't even
needs a
remember it.
miracle if they are going to come back in
I
this
can't even
game.
remember.
8 rounds back to
It's gonna be
back
a shock
just
for
to
me
get
when
to
Kurt reads it
overtime
out on Platch
is
out as well.
a tough prospect and a
mercy.
tough nut to crack. At the very least, they are going to save this operator for the next round, but as you said,
I've got no
miracle is
IGLs, I know that.
exactly what
No
they need.
IGLs.
If the side of Trace can now just
A
play
lot of
war
fraggers.
attrition. Of course, they would rather just
I think
end
I've
it and
got
get it 13-4,
no one that hasn't won
pack up,
a
have a bit of a rest,
trophy
but
as
they
well.
can afford to easily lose 2, 3, 4
That's
rounds.
true. I got
Just
1 IGL.
burn
I
JDG
got 1
out
IGL
of
and it's not
all of their
boasting.
ultimates, out of all of their economy, and then take the win. They have all the time in the world to work with.
No Mako? I'm pretty sure I took Mako out, but I'm honestly not 100%. I had him in about 5 times and then I took him
It
out.
might just be a little bit of a playstyle and a compositional difference. We've spoken about this comp for JDG, but the thing that they did so well on the past 2
Does
maps
Bren have
was
another
their
algorithm for this one?
retakes.
Dude,
Their
at
retakes were so
one point
good.
I started
Trace
making an
has picked the
algorithm
comp
because I
where
didn't know
as
what to
soon as they
do.
get onto site, retake is
But then it
near
felt way too
impossible
Bren that I
because
just
they have
stopped.
so much utility to stop you from getting
I was
onto
doing
site that you can't
like
play
double
for these
team
5v5
bonus.
retakes like we
Team
saw JDG
people
do before.
people that had like done really well
Hit
on
the nail on the
2
head,
different
couldn't
teams.
agree
So
any
you knew it
more.
wasn't
At
the
moment,
system.
There's plenty of utilities that
Yeah,
right
dude,
now
it got
Trace
crazy.
are able to burn enough utility to get on the site and then have
Okay,
as you
8
said, just
chances.
enough to still make the post plant a nightmare. JDG on the other hand, like they've got the Viper walls and stuff all set up, but Trace have been doing honestly a phenomenal job of just completely ignoring it.
Oh, dude, he might farm here.
Could be devastating. They know it's there now. Only 3 bullets left. Make that 2. KK Lin would have to.
Well, they
get
got
2
shut
kills
down.
at the very least to make this one worth it.
Heavy over towards C. Instant reaction from
It's quite
Stu,
a
and
lot
he
of
is.
utility burns
He's a little bit
both
wrecked, but the
sides.
alarm bot's still up
Viper
in
wall,
garage. He's
Viper
kind of fine
orb.
for a bit.
We've seen the shock darts. There's a lot used. Killjoy alarm bot does give the information. Stu is holding it, but actually, if you look towards Trace, they may be considering a re-pivot back towards B.
That shotgun's still there, though. That judge ready to pass
No,
judgment
he
on
left.
anybody that decides to come into this site.
He thinks they're not crazy enough to do it.
Unless the decision making 20 seconds, the Sova dart's ready. It's going to be a push on from Trace onto this B site. The
Mate, what
flash
are you
is
doing?
absolutely perfect. The sonar scan
What's
is
the
great.
thought
Paranoia
process?
being barely
What's
missed
the
by
thought
KK Lin, but the
process?
shots are finding their mark, and it looks to be the end for JDG.
Shu and Baby Blue, the 2 left alive, would have to pull off a miracle. They would have to prove themselves to be the magicians that they can be. But with an operator and no health on Baby Blue, this is pretty much impossible.
And here we go, the smokes as well being danced
No
around.
patience
Kai
to be a
Martin,
judge
the
for it. Yeah, it's moving
crossfires
way
here
too
only
much.
needs one bullet from Kai. The double swing, it's not
Okay.
necessary. Martin is
I mean, they
happy to
wrecked him
clean
on
up,
the
and
on the last map. They really did.
13-4
K-Spars
showing
again.
from
Thanks so much
Trace.
for the
A
28 months. Appreciate the
phenomenal
tier 1. Thank you for
attempt
doing
from
that.
JDG, and honestly, a showing we